does a great job, man. Without further ado, our friend, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Z, I thought your conversation with John today, it's almost like these guys don't want to indict. And I hear you. You don't, and you're not indicting the kid's ability. But, bro, we're 3 weeks out from the start of the NFL season. I mean,
one second, dude. I can't hear you. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Wait 1 second. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I hear you loud and clear.
What? Speak.
How you doing?
I can't hear your ass. Let me try taking these things out. Now what? You got me now?
Now you doing? How you doing?
Now I got you. Hopefully my mic sounds all right. Fucking StreamYards having the worst week in their life.
Week and a half. Right? Week and a half. See, I heard you talking this week or this morning with John. And I think you really brought up a great point, dude. You're not indicting Makai Lemon at all in any way whatsoever when it comes to what he potentially could become at the end of the day. I'm starting to get to a point now where I'm concerned about the first half of the season for the kid.
Well,
and I'll say this to you, right? I thought your take was perfect. Hey, dude, in the year where you got rid of AJ and you drafted a guy at 17, I was expecting this guy to come in and carry some water for the offense, right?
No doubt, dude. No doubt. I mean, I don't understand how people, John included, and I've said this to him, he just doesn't see it like this, but I don't understand how you can comp this scenario to every other first-round pick scenario. Like, it's not. The Eagles have a Super Bowl window open, wide open, and they believe that. And the people around the league believe that based on where they've ranked their roster and things like that. So, this is obviously a situation where these dudes need to they need to step up. But, where I've relented a little bit is, and this is why I was upset with John about the Darius Cooper conversation, is it doesn't have to be Lemon. It just has to be somebody. Somebody has to step up. Is it Lemon? I don't know. It's kind of like when they drafted Dillard. It was such a bad draft pick, but nobody gave a shit because Jordan Mailata worked. You know what I mean? So it's like we need somebody to step up. We need, whether it's Darius Cooper, it's Elijah Moore, it's Dontavian Wicks. I don't know, but we need some of them to step up. I am intrigued by Wicks. I'm intrigued by Cooper, but John keeps telling me it's a summer story and he's not going to get on the field. I don't think the Eagles are in a time right now where it's time to play politics. This is not play politics when you're playing for the next 3 years. Play politics when you're back in the middle of the pack. Play politics when you lose the East. Don't play politics when your Super Bowl window is wide open. Now, I got to give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt because the Eagles have made such great decisions overall in the last several years. So I'm not ready to conclusively say that they're doing one thing or another, but I just feel as though somebody's got to step up. And if Darius Cooper's that guy, I don't really care where Makai Lemon was drafted. You got to get him on the football field. We'll see if they do that.
Okay. Z, do you think this is an organization that really looks at perception as a big deal and how they're perceived?
Yes, but I think it's changed a little bit because they're now perceived so highly.
Okay. Well, if they're perceived so high, do you think Howie is perceived highly because of his personnel moves?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how would this look if Darius Cooper's the number 3 wide receiver, Makai Lemon, if healthy, is sitting on the sidelines in week 1, 2, or 3?
Well, it's a blessing and a curse. Your first round pick struggling, but you found a diamond in the rough in Darius Cooper. That's kind of, again, that's why I used the Mailata Dillard comp. It's not perfect because they're tackles.
Yeah, but what's the level that you're talking about with Cooper? Like, just because Cooper's starting doesn't mean he's going to be a guy you thought
but
he would be.
Comparing that until the year, right?
Understood.
I think we got to wait and see. I mean, still, you were a player. You understand how sometimes the whole process of the NFL and the scouting and everything that goes into, they miss dudes. It just happens. It just happens. Sometimes there's a dude who can flat out play, or he didn't go to the right school. I mean, I'll rewind a little bit, and to a lesser degree, you did it, I did it, and many people in the chat did it. They'll act like they didn't, but they did. When we drafted Quinyon Mitchell over Teron Arnold,
Oh, absolutely.
there were people who were like, "Man, you took the Toledo dude over to Alabama dude."
Absolutely, I said it.
Again, a lesser degree. Obviously, Quinyon was a first-round draft pick, not the same comp, but Darius Cooper's out there playing, getting open on Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, and Tariq Woolen he had on skates in a Vic Fangio defense. I mean, I think the dude can flat out play. So, I'd like to see him get out there, but I get your point. I mean, just because he's out there doesn't mean he's going to make up for it. But the one thing that you said that I 100% agree with, I mean, and I don't think there should be any other way to look at it. When you don't have the receivers that win on talent alone, the quarterback has to elevate those guys. And I also think the offense and the coaching staff around them as well.
Yes.
We talk a lot about how Patrick Mahomes elevates, Juju Smith-Schuster. Well, Andy Reid does too. So I think the coaching staff and the quarterback have to elevate these dudes. And, we'll see what it looks like this year. But I don't know. I have a weird feeling that this Darius Cooper dude is not just some undrafted dude that can get – that's another Travis Fulgham.
I like his energy.
To be a good player.
I like his energy. I like his energy of wanting to be really good and fighting for something. I'm going to tell you something, dude. I heard something that John said to you. I could not disagree more with this. When you said this to him, hey, man, schemes matter. Well, let me ask you this. If I put a lesser talented guy in a scheme, the chances of that scheme being not very good, I don't care if it's Vic Fangio. You tell me this, Zander. If you put the Eagles scout team defense in Vic Fangio's defense scheme in week 1 against the Commanders versus the talent you have that are on your starting 53, you think you're going to get killed by the Commanders? Of course you are.
Yeah.
My point is, you don't think Vic puts people like Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond in positions to make their road easier to get to their goal? If you have a guy that knows how to get to a goal with an easier path than the other coach, who do you think is going to do more for his football team this year? Vic or Sean Mannion? Vic, experience, knows the road, knows the speed bumps. Sean Mannion's got to learn those speed bumps still.
Yeah, but to be fair, just to be fair to Mannion, I agree. But
I'm comparing him to Vic. Okay.
And Vic does have some pretty good players to work with right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's
got a first and a second at the secondary. He's got Tariq Woolen.
You know what I mean?
Like, he's got talent.
Yeah, but I'm talking making Bond, improving.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, do you think that Jordan Davis has improved since Vic became the coach?
Oh, absolutely. But to be fair, I think that's been mostly Clint Hurt. I mean, okay. Clint Hurt, what a whale of a job.
Coaches in Vic's scheme.
What a hell of a job that dude has done.
Right.
I mean, that dude is just deserves so much credit for what's going on that defensive line. Now, there's great players he's got to work with, but really has brought out the best in those guys. But no, I get what you're saying. I mean,
certain coaches know the easier road to success than others. Just based on experience.
And are you saying Mannion can't do that, or you just think it's too much of a gamble at this point in time to go with somebody who doesn't know?
I think because he hasn't done it yet and been through the experiences of losing. It took Vic 40 years to win a Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah.
And listen, is he capable? Yeah. Will the Eagles give him time? I don't know.
I mean, that's a fair question.
I just don't know.
I do like Sean. I mean, I don't know if I'm just going Eagle fan on it, but I mean, when I listen to the dude, I'm like, the guy sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Because he gives you reasonings.
Yeah.
Why you're doing shit.
I think I also think it's all seemingly at this point until we see it in action. But to me, he seemingly has a good idea of where the most important areas to push are on, like communication with the quarterback. Such a simple thing, but Kevin Patullo clearly didn't do that well. I mean, Jalen Hurts has given 3 times now, credit to Mannion for the way he's communicated. And Sean has emphasized it as well. I listened to your buddy Mark Trestman. I'm pretty sure in his book, which I purchased, didn't read fully through it yet. I'm pretty sure he discusses how important it is for an offensive coordinator to be on the same page always with the quarterback. It's one of the most important relationships in the entire locker room, he said.
Yes.
I don't think some other dudes did that right. It feels like Sean understands that. Whether he does it well is another question, but at the very least, understanding it, I think, is a good thing.
How do you feel about going into week 1 with Darius Cooper, Dontavian Wicks, and Devontae Smith as your wideouts?
I feel all right about that. I don't think that's as bad as we think. I mean, I think Dontavian's had a pretty good camp. And Darius Cooper I'm pretty high on, but it's obviously not what it once was. And it's going to mean that Jalen and the coaching staff are going to have to do more to elevate and put those guys in positions to succeed. But I don't feel as bad about it as I did in June.
Has Darius Cooper played a regular season football game yet?
Yeah, he played. He was on the roster last year. I think he had around 100 yards, like 10 catches.
Okay, so he's been in. So for them to put him into a game plan where he's going to get maybe 35 catches this year, would you take something like that, 35, 40 catches?
It depends. I mean, if he goes to the bench because they want Lemon out there, probably not. But yeah, I think 35 is a good number.
Z, you think it's a Super Bowl window still? How many years do you think that window's open right now?
Well, I do think it is right now, but I think you're skating on thinner ice because the offensive line is older and there's more question marks there. Like I've even heard some, the reports on Landon aren't too good right now coming out.
So the margins are thinner, you think?
In my opinion, just from the offensive line's perspective, because anybody, you guys all know watching football, you could have a great football team. Dude, your offensive line goes to shit. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time winning at a big level. And like right now, it feels like, all right, Lane's hanging him up this year, after this year. Landon, I don't know. What's he have? 2 years left, 3 years left, 4 years left, 1 year left? I don't know. Mailata is now in his 30s, I believe. Juergens, I feel all right about. And Steen might be a rotating door. Like you could be looking at realistically 3 offensive line changes in the next 2 years,
Correct.
3 years.
Correct.
So I think there's the big thing there. Defense, I feel like you're in a pretty good spot. I mean, you got Quinion. They're basically Howie basically already said he's going to pay Quinion and Cooper. He already has Davis and Carter signed. I'm more optimistic at linebacker now because Trotters seemingly is looking so damn good. So if they have to make a decision on Bond, they're pretty good there. So you're good at secondary, you're good at linebacker, and you're good on the defensive line. Edge will figure out what they do. And safety, it feels like Makuba is coming along pretty well if he can stay healthy. So defense, I think they're going to be good for the next foreseeable future. The offensive questions, I think, are fair, but, Devontae's got to elevate. They got to figure out a replacement for Goddard. I mean, if they want to keep the window open, because it doesn't feel like it's Stowers.
I thought they drafted one.
Yeah, well, I mean, he needs to make some big improvements to be that type of replacement. I mean, Goddard, might not be the best in the league, but he does a lot of things well and has in his career. So it's going to be interesting. But I think it's open sales for the next 2 years at least until I see.
Okay. How do you feel about running Green Bay's offense? You think Green Bay's offense has been that great the last couple of years?
I mean, I don't think it's been that great, but I don't think they have the type of players we have.
I think your wide receiving core is outside of Devontae, because Devontae's better than that kid they got, Watson, what's his name?
Watson, yeah.
He's better than him, but the other guys kind of are all in the room together.
Yeah, well, now they are. I don't disagree with that.
I think they got a better tight end than you.
Jacobs is a good running back, obviously. Tucker Kraft is fucking incredible. I mean, Tucker Kraft is a much better player than Dallas Goedert, at least at this point. I mean, but that dude's coming off a big injury, so we'll see how he looks this year. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job with Jordan Love. I mean, they've also, it's not easy to go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan. It's not all the same offense.
40 years they've had.
They're doing something right on the offensive side of the ball. So, yeah, I don't have much of a problem with that. Where were they ranked last year, the Packers offense?
That's a good call there. I have been very like when I think of the Packer offense, I'm like, it's been so spotty, Zander.
They were 15th in total offense, averaging 330 yards per game.
How about their passing game?
Passing offense, 15th.
Okay. Run?
17th. Points,
middle,
16th.
It's
All middle of the pack.
Middle of the league, right?
But remember, didn't Love missed 4 games, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think the rookie they had missed some games, Golden.
Yep. And then
Well, I wonder where they were.
And Kraft missed a shitload of games too.
I wonder where they were on. Yeah, right. Kraft got hurt. Let me check PFF just to see. I know not everybody likes PFF, but I do like the advanced stuff.
Yeah,
sometimes,
I do. I like the advanced numbers.
Let me look what we
got.
Yeah,
because Kraft was like the top tight end. Zander, he was like the top tight end in the league, but when he went down, he was a weapon, dude.
They were 8th on offensive ranking last year.
Okay. Before Kraft went down. All right.
No, overall on the year.
Oh, overall. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's spotty at times. And I do like Matt LaFleur as a play caller. So if he resembles that at all, you got yourself a good football coach. If Sean Mannion can be any way near Matt LaFleur, I think that's a good coach, you know? All right. So how do you think, Zander, how do you think Hurts's camp has gone?
I think pretty good. I mean, I like what I'm hearing about some of the things he's doing differently. He seems to have taken a liking to what they're trying to do on offense. I think I saw a report today. Adam Schefter was like, I didn't know you could get faster at 28. You heard Vic Fangio say he looks faster. I mean, Jalen Hurts clearly, I think, knows, hey, man, it's time to run the football, to run the football again, Now, to be fair, all right, and here come people aren't going to like this comment. That's all right. To be fair, I'm not a fan of you're not in a contract year, so you don't run the ball. And now you're in a contract year and you're going to run the ball again. Did he get faster or is the will and the want to back? I have a little bit of a problem with that, but whatever. It is let's see what happens. I'm not crushing him for it. I'm optimistic, though, that he's going to run the football again this year. And I think he's going to have a good year, man. I think they got to get the run game going, and he's got to kind of clean up the rest and do a good job.
You see everything Zander just said right there? Okay. Well, has he done enough for an extension then right now before you get ahead of it? Why don't we do this? If he's doing all these things and he looks like this and he's looking like that, he looks faster, he's doing this, do you really want to pay the Jerry Jones tax that John calls?
They've already
in March. Oh, wait a minute. He's looking like a superstar. He's looking like this.
They gave you the answer to that, though, dude. They would have given him the deal. Now, maybe the deal comes before the season starts.
That's what I'm saying. Would you pay now? All the things that you're hearing? How great it's sounding, how great it's looking, him buying in.
Look at that. I told you everybody was going to get so upset at that comment. Oh, Sean, fucking pucker up, dude. Holy crap, dude. Alfredo says he wasn't putting his body on the line for KP. It's for the name on the front, Alfredo. Come on, Alfredo. Unbelievable, Sills. I told you they weren't going to like that comment.
No way.
It's a fair comment. It's a fair comment.
Sliding
behind the line of scrimmage after you get your big old contract, and then you got a new deal coming, and now you're running all over the place again. Hey, listen, I'm happy because I just want the Eagles to have a good year. And I think him doing that will lead to them having a better year. So I'm good with that. Well,
let me ask Alfredo this. Since Jalen Carter got that contract, if Jalen Carter's first team All-Pro, and he knew that he was waiting for that contract extension, he becomes first team All-Pro. Are you bitching that he wanted a contract and now all of a sudden he was in the offseason working his ass off and he got a contract and they paid him? Of course you're not going to be pissed. You're like, I'm glad we did it now. I'll tell you what, Z, your two boys though, man, your defensive tackles, what? A lot of pressure on those guys. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Holy shit. Those guys have to play. Some guy in here goes, All-Pro season incoming. Well, no shit. You're paying both of them north of $25 million. You better get All-Pro seasons out of them. I mean, I don't know why people want to be patted on the back for not robbing a bank. I mean, dude, what are you expecting here? So who's the backup quarterback, dude?
The backup quarterback? I don't know. Sills, let's just play a scenario out. You need a win. It's week 16. Jalen's going to miss one football game from I don't know, a sore knee, something happened. You need to win one ball game. You feel better about Dalton or you feel better about McKay?
No, I got one better for you. Okay. How's the O-line playing? Hurts season's going well. They're running the ball well. Who would you put in there? You know who I put in there? I might put old Cole Payton back in there to run the football.
Come on.
Wait a minute. I heard he's a spectacular runner.
Well, maybe you throw some Wildcat in there with Cole.
Wildcat.
You're not
20 yard. Wait, 50-year-old Andy Dalton?
Nah. You think Dalton or McKee gives you a better chance to win one football game?
Dalton.
I happen to agree. But I'm not out on McKee. I like McKee.
Dalton. Yeah. Andy Dalton, bro. Holy. Hey, man, everybody's talking about Darius Cooper. Now, is it real? Or is it not? Is he really the guy? Is Darius Cooper the guy?
I like him, but I don't know if he's the guy. He's not going to have the opportunity, Sills. If you don't have the opportunity in life, then you can't showcase who you are, what you can do. If they're going to put him on the bench because they used the first-round pick on Lemon, then so be it. But that means Lemon's got to step the hell up. But I don't know. I think John had a good point. Like, it's easy to get a little concerned on Lemon, but at least this. Guys like Rager, he can never run around. Guys like Aguilar couldn't track a football. Like, at least Lemon does those things well. That doesn't mean he's going to be this great NFL player. That's not what I'm saying. But at least you have that. Okay, he can run a route well. He can track the football well. He has good hands. Now, does that mean he becomes a great NFL player? No, but it's not like you're banking on, hey, he's the deep threat or he's got this crazy 4.3 speed. He's kind of has the more polished skill set as of a wideout. Let's see if he gets on the field and what he can do. But I like Cooper, Sills.
Okay. Do you think Makai Lemon is closer to being Quez Watkins or Devontae Smith?
What a fucking play. Devontae Smith's tough, dude, because he's such a great pro. He does everything well at that position. I can't put Makai Lemon.
Okay. Well, then here is he closer to Quez Watkins or Dontavian Wicks?
Dontavian Wicks, I think.
If that guy turns out to be Dontavian Wicks, how do you feel about it?
Not great. It depends. Like Nolan Smith, he's a first-round pick, but
way too early on this yet. Way too early.
It depends. It's like Nolan Smith. Is Nolan Smith a bad pick if he doesn't get to his second deal? I don't know. The guy was a huge contributor to a Super Bowl win. Do you wish you could get a little bit more? Are there areas of it that are disappointing? Sure. But are you good with that pick? I am.
Wait. Well, how about this? If a first-round draft choice doesn't get a second contract, how do you feel about that?
You always want a first-round pick to get a second contract. But again, if they don't, does that mean that the 5 years you got out of him for the pick was bad? No. There's areas of it that are disappointment. But so you think Nolan Smith was an objective failure because he won't get a second contract here if he doesn't?
All I'm saying is that if you draft a guy in the first round, you're hoping he's a benchmark for your football team for more than just 4 years, don't you? Or is that okay? Are you okay with that? If you get play from a player for 4 years, are you all right with that? I don't know. Maybe I have to modify that. Maybe I have to modify that too in today's NFL.
I get what you're saying, but you always want that, but you can't. Sometimes you can't have the whole cake. sometimes a piece is good enough. You know, if you take the piece, you move on, you live to see another day.
Let me play a small game with you then here on that. I like that topic. If I put Jalen Hunt out there on the open market right now, what do you think you'd get for him in return for a draft pick?
For Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hunt.
Oh, Jalen Hunt. I don't know. Probably
Say it. Say it. Say it. A 2?
2 or 3?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. 2? I don't think he's proven 2 yet. What did we just trade for Jonathan Grenard? Now, different situations because he needs a contract, but Jalen's going to need a contract soon too. We traded a 4th round pick? Yeah. No, 2 third-round picks.
Wow. Okay. Man. Okay. Here, let me play another one here with you.
So I think a 3.
What would you get Moro Jomo in return?
I think you could get a decent amount. I think you could get a 3 for him.
3.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little high there, but I don't know. He's a pretty good, and he's a pass rusher.
What would you give for Zach Bond, even at his age right now?
That's a tougher one to gauge because linebackers don't get traded much, and they're not seen as valuable across the league. A 3, 4, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a GM. I'm just fucking shooting from the hip here.
Yeah, what would you get for Nolan Smith?
4 or 5, probably. 4, 5, maybe a conditional 5.
He's not getting a second contract, and if you put him on the open market, his value is a 4th and a 5th. That's not real value for a guy.
I don't know what it is. I mean, don't use my numbers as
okay. Well, I'm saying, I mean, like you're not wrong. I would probably think a 4th, but dude, his value's not high. He's like, you couldn't get a lot for that guy.
Yeah, but again,
and you drafted him 31, and he's not going to get a second, contract.
Well, injuries are a big thing.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, guy can't stay healthy. So, that's been his biggest issue.
See,
if you asked me what he was worth after the Super Bowl year when he delivered a great second half of the year there, I don't know. What would it have been then?
Oh, but higher. That was his highest value. I want you to revamp your numbers for me on Hurts. 2026 will look like what for you?
For Hurts?
Number-wise,
I got like 3,500 passing. I'm going to go back north of 500 rushing. I think he's got to be 500 to 700 rushing again. And give me 25 to 28 tutties through the air. And give me under 8 or 9 picks. I'd be good with. I think people are too much. Everybody's got to chill out on the picks. All right,
higher volume, yes.
I think people got to relax on these picks. The guy throws 1 pick, and people act like the fucking world is ending. It's like, dude, chill out. All right, picks happen. It's football. You're playing against NFL defenses. If you want to have a quarterback throw the ball in the tight windows or try and win a game with his arm, there's going to be some picks. I mean, Jalen's never been a crazy turnover guy outside of 2023. So I'm good with under 9 picks. I think 25 to 28 touchdowns, 3,500, 500 to 700 on the ground, and maybe another 5 to 8 touchdowns on the ground would be perfect.
You think he's got to have 35 total touchdowns for that offense to be a success this year?
I don't think it comes down to that. I mean, because Saquon Barkley always tips the scale. I mean, how many does Saquon get? Do they do the tush push again? I'm not exactly sure what the exact number. I don't love to put a number on it in terms of touchdowns, what he has to do. But, the one thing about Jalen he is a dynamic player from a sense of he will get touchdowns naturally, whether it's by land or by air. So I think 35 would be a good number, though. 28 on the ground through the air and 7 on the ground, or maybe 26 through the air and 9 on the ground. I think that'd be great.
Give me a successful year for Sean Mannion.
Sean Mannion has to have an effective offense that you don't feel like is a liability game in and game out.
So it's more
I don't
visual.
know what exactly that looks like.
It's more visual than number?
Forget visual. No, it's not visual. It's actual effectiveness. Are you the worst team in the league in 3 and outs again? Are you 3rd and 12 every time you line up on 3rd down? Those are the things you have to fix. I don't really care if it's ugly or it's pretty. I understand some people care a lot about that, but I'm not gauging Sean based on, hey, they threw the ball perfectly this year or great this year. I don't think that's what it's about. I mean, he's got to have a better, more effective offense. He's got to have better communication with the quarterback. They have to be more on the same page week in and week out. And I think he has to put his players in a good position to be successful week in and week out. If you put your players in a good position and the play doesn't happen, that's football, man. There's 2 sides of the team. There's two different teams out there. Sometimes you're going to get, sometimes you're not going to win the battle. Got to win the war. And that's kind of how I'm gauging Sean. I know it's a tough answer for someone like you because you want me to just slap a number on that thing, but that's not how I think it is. I think it's got to be an effective, good, strong offense, accentuate the talents of the players, get the run game going, put Jalen in a good position to use his full skill set and see where the team can take you from there.
I want this offense to go back to being the one thing that you were in 2022. You know what that word was? Compatible. And what I mean by that was, how many games did you go into? If you needed to throw the ball, you threw it. If you needed to run it, you ran it. You went to the weakness of that team that you were playing that year. And that offense, the best year they had was in 2022 when they were like a chameleon. 1 week you needed to throw the ball. They would. 1 week they ran the football. They did. They got away from that somehow and how they were compatible with their opponents. That 2022 offense, Zander, every single time you got into a football game, you were like this. Well, remember how they started games out? 12-play drives. And by the time you looked up, you're in the second quarter and there's 6 minutes left in the half. And you were doing this. Where the fuck did the first half go? How many times did they run people off the clock and off the field position because of the way they played? They were like a chameleon, dude. That team was so, you did this, we're doing that. We're doing this, they can't cover this. You have somehow completely gotten away from relying on the talent so much. We're going to run the ball. That's it. We're not doing anything else. We'll kind of throw the ball if we have to, but we're not very good at it. That team in 22 offensively was the best Jalen Hurts offense that they ever had because they could do anything they wanted against anybody, and nobody could stop it.
I'll put this on you too. I'll ask you this. What would the 23 team have accomplished if the defense wasn't 31st in the NFL?
They'd probably be in the NFC title game.
I agree.
And you would have learned to live with those turnovers. Because why?
Turnovers.
Well, he has 21. He didn't put the ball in.
How many?
No. He had 6 fumbles, too.
How many turnovers did Jalen Hurts have in 2023?
15 turnovers. Picks.
20 total. That's too many.
It is. He played 17 ball or 15 ball game. No, that year he played 17.
15 picks and 5 fumbles lost.
Yeah, it's 20 in 17 games.
So he's got to get that number down. But again, I wonder how many of
But it was higher volume. It was 586 passes.
Exactly, because the defense was so horrid. I mean, let me look up one more.
Yeah, you went like 584 attempts that year. Then the next year you went down to 362 or something. Yeah, it was 9 fumbles, but 5 lost. Okay, I mean, yeah.
9 fumbles, 5 lost.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like that. But then remember, Z, the first 4 games in 2024, remember, he had like 6 turnovers. So like in like 25 games, the guy had like 30 some odd turnovers.
Yeah,
turning the ball over.
I don't know. I think naturally, and believe me, I'm guilty of this too. But like, I think we've all gone a little too far on like what Hurts has to be. Like my boy in the chat, Curtis, right now. Curtis, I love you. But right now you're a Jalen Hurts doomer. And I understand that Jalen doesn't play the style of football that you like. And believe me, when I tell you, Curtis, I understand where you're coming from. And many times I catch myself saying, man, I wish they played a different style of football. But we don't need Jalen to be that. We have a good team. We have a good roster. We have a good defense. We need Jalen to get back to playing like he played when the team did do what they needed to do and go the distance. I'm fine if Jalen Hurts has a 24-year because the defense and running game are so good again. Jalen needs to understand where they are in the season or what's needed of him and meet that moment. I think the biggest criticism of Hurts last season wasn't that he didn't throw for X yards or X or whatever, have this stat or this. It was the team needed you to become this as a player, and you didn't meet that moment. The team needed you to become, elevate the rest of the roster because the run game is struggling and Kevin Patullo sucked ass. He didn't meet it. And when you're an elite quarterback, I think that's what you have to do. You have to be the version of yourself that you need for your team in any given week to win the game. And, I think Jalen can do that. I don't think it's got to be this, he can't run a West Coast offense, so he's never going to be able to do this and sail the season. Fuck that. I mean, come on. That's not what we're asking for. That we don't have the Bengals, dude. We're not the Dallas Cowboys with the worst defense. We don't need Jalen Hurts to turn into something that, you could never imagine him being. We need him to manage the game, be a great quarterback when he needs to be a great quarterback. Don't put the team in bad spots and take advantage of what the defense gives you. Use your legs, use your arms when it comes. Get your playmakers the ball and play good football. Play good complementary football.
I think where you and me differ on this year, here's where you and me differ, and you tell me if I'm wrong. You and me agree the roster's good. I agree with you. The roster's good. I disagree where I think is this part. You tell me if you agree or disagree. I just think what they're asking these men to do this year, this is not a 2-month thing where this is a 2-year process. This is where you're trying to evolve something, and you've got to find, you don't even know if you have the right players to do what you want to do. You don't even know if you have the right quarterback or the right coordinator to do what you want to do. Everyone's assuming it. But
you're also assuming the brand of football.
Because I've seen inexperienced people before try to do things like this.
No, you didn't let me finish. I'm saying you're assuming that they're going to run that different of an offense.
I am.
I'm not yet sold that they are.
I keep hearing people, that's all they talk about.
It's going to be different, but I'm saying, like, how do they bridge that gap of, where it's different, but it's not, again, you're not asking Jalen to be Brock Purdy.
Like I've said, listen, my issue is not with your roster, it's your approach. And I've said that the entire offseason. It's the approach. That's why I'm not high on it. Okay? And I think you got a good roster. I don't think that offensive skill set position, I'm with John on that. Bro, that's not exceptional. That's not an exceptional group of offensive people in the passing game. Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, Devontae is a special dude. Barkley could be special again. You have 2 special people in your offensive approach and how you want to attack people. That could be special outside the quarterback. It's Smith and Barkley. If those 2 guys aren't special,
I think Jalen is special.
I think those other guys are dudes.
I think Jalen is special when he uses his full skill set. He's not special as a passer from the pocket.
No,
we all know that. No. But is he special when he breaks your back on 3rd and long with a run?
Immensely.
Yeah. I mean, somebody in the chat says he can't carry. He carried in 22. I get that was a long time ago. But, getting a hybrid version of that player, I think is, again, we are not a bad organization. Guys, I promise you, we don't want to be the Bills, who needs Josh Allen to be literally the second coming every week.
Every week.
You don't want that.
No way.
Why haven't they been to the Super Bowl? It's not because of Josh Allen. As much as Eagle fans like to criticize Josh Allen, it's not because of Josh Allen.
Here,
It's
Z.
not going to be that.
G. Josh Allen can't play like Jalen did in that Rams game. And the Bills win.
I know.
You're so talented, you can have a quarterback play that bad and still win because of the exceptional talent that you have around the kid. Okay? That's the difference between Philly and Buffalo. You're right. Allen has 2 picks. Fucker's over.
Yeah.
Okay? So do you believe that Sean Mannion is going to get more out of Jalen Hurts than Shane Steichen did?
Than Shane did? Well, that's tough to say because, the RPO has been kind of legislated out of the game a little bit more so. You're seeing it go back down.
Okay, is he going to make Jalen Hurts a better ball player than what Shane made Jalen Hurts in 22? Will he make him maybe a different ball player?
It's tough. I mean, Shane had him for year 1 and 2 of starting.
Year and a half.
I'm just saying, when you get somebody at the bottom of the roller coaster, it's easier to go up. If I picked you up at the bottom of Mount Everest, it's easier for me to lift you up versus if I got you at the top and I got to take you further.
Well, he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's at the top now. You got the guy at his.
It's harder to elevate somebody who's that high versus getting them, from the ground floor.
Oh, okay. So
I don't like the comp of. I think the better comp is Patullo or Mannion, and I think Mannion's going to do a better job.
But Jesus, that's a low floor. Kevin Patullo's a low floor, isn't it?
I just got done explaining that. I don't think it has to become this insane, dude,
you just said he's got to play. He's got to elevate though this year for that.
He's definitely going to have to elevate more. No doubt.
That's on the coordinator. Elevate him, isn't it?
Partly. I mean, it's also on him. I mean, got to put some of that burden on the player. But I'm starting to. I don't know. Everybody always tries to put you in a box. It's like. I have optimism that Jalen Hurts will once again deliver the goods. All right. I've spent many days, many shows, many segments where we've cast doubt and said all the things that Jalen can't do. And that's fine. You can do that about every player. Every player has things they can't do. Jalen has also done enough in my time watching him to say, I'm going to sit down and shut up and let him show me. I'm not going to put a box on him. I'm not going to put a ceiling on him. I'm going to let him show me because every time I've seen him be doubted to the point where he'll never do this or he can't do this or there's no way this happens, that's where Jalen, I think, has played the best. And I think that's a great trait from him. But I've seen it too many times for me to sit here and say one way or another that Jalen's either going to be awful or he's going to be – it's like –
Saban put him in a box.
Well, you tell me, did he prove Nick Saban wrong? And I'm the biggest Saban fan out here.
Not as a college quarterback, he didn't.
That's what the argument he did. He took Oklahoma to the Final Four.
Right. Well, again, you think Alabama went back in any way whatsoever without Hurts being the starting quarterback?
That's a different thing.
Yeah, they never took a step back without Jalen being in there.
Yeah, but that's because they were Alabama. And let's be real, they had a pipeline of 5-star.
But they put him in a box by pulling him and saying, I need that guy to throw the ball more in a different style.
And did he break that box? Yes or no?
Yeah, but Nick put him in I'm saying Nick put that guy in a box when he was there at Alabama and said, we think he's this guy, and that's why we're going with Tua.
I'm a Saban fan. I think Jalen broke that box. Nobody.
Yeah, but it didn't affect
Wait a second, though. The conversation shifts. The pendulum shifts. Nobody 8 years ago thought that me and you, let alone anybody in the sports world, would still be talking about Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback in the NFL, let alone a top-tier starter who's performed in 2 Super Bowls. So Jalen he's slided the scale.
I'm not debating that. My point is that Nick saw him for what he thought he was. And right now, we're now in a process of saying, well, are you going to now be more of a passing quarterback?
He's broken.
This is what everyone. But this is the debate. This is why.
Yeah, but you just said Saban put him in the box, and
because everyone else. has put him in that box of him not being a passer.
People continue to do it.
There's a reason why 6 million views on an INT today in camp. I mean, in a practice where people aren't taking people to the ground.
Yeah, well, guess what? If you fucking think that that's a big deal, then I think you have not you, anybody listening. If anybody thinks that that's a big deal, you got a pea-sized brain.
It's
literally.
Not a big deal.
I mean, come on here.
Well, why do you think 6.3 million people have tuned that pick in? Because nobody thinks he can do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of my favorite things about Jalen Hurts. Fuck what everybody says. One of the things I'll always remember, my father's told me this since I was 3 years old. And as I've gotten older, I've seen it play out in life, where it's one of my favorite things my dad ever taught me as a kid. He used to say to me, because I was always the kid who spent time in the principal's office and, the grade school friends, their moms were, Zander, a bad, whatever.
This is why we're boys, Z.
I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks. Fuck what they think. That Jalen Hurts embodies that. Fuck what everybody's got to say. Fuck that. Fuck the box. Break it. I'm optimistic Jalen has a good year this year. Doesn't mean I think he's going to become somebody he's never been, but I think he's going to be a great version of who he is.
And is this going to be a gradual process, or is it going to be a lightning process where this thing, it just clicks and these guys just pick it up because the run. Now, listen, you know how he could become faster, Z? If Barkley gets out of the gate and he goes for 150 in that opening game, Hurts might throw for 300 and some odd yards, or he might throw for 200, but it might be what you're looking for, efficient.
That's what I again, I don't want to get too far from that. I don't think you come into the season wanting to be, it's got to be the Jalen Hurts show every week. That's not a good way to win. I don't think that's a good way to win for any team. I don't care who your quarterback is.
Correct, because it wasn't the Sam Darnold days. It was about playing.
There's only one quarterback.
It's about collective.
There's only one quarterback in the NFL right now who's proved that they can actually have success with that, and it's Mahomes. That's it.
He's the
Josh Allen couldn't. I mean, look, and I'm a Josh Allen fan.
I got you.
All right, I'm a big Josh Allen fan. In fact, we have Mark Holmes in the green room. Eagle fans don't like me for this. I'm actually a Dak Prescott fan. I think Dak Prescott's a fine quarterback. Dak Prescott's never going to be good enough, though, to win and go the distance or do what he needs to do without the right team around him, without a good general manager making good decisions, without a strong defense, without a running game. It's football. It's not boxing. It's not tennis. It's not one-on-one. So, we talk about Jalen a lot, but again, I do think it's about the collective and the unit and the team playing. Everybody's got to play where they got to play, and I think they can have a good year, man. I really do.
I think Dak's going to have a spectacular year too. I really like what Brian Schottenheimer's done.
He's done
really done a great job with that offense. Any supers here, Z? By the way, great show this morning. I watched it, Birds 365 with you and John. John's out. Boy, I'll tell you, I've never heard John. He goes, the group of wideouts, they're just guys. And, I'm going, damn.
He's calling them four.
He's calling them fours.
Fours, yeah. Here's let's go to some supers before we get these guys in there. Battle Royale. Shannon, Devin, what's up, dude? Big Z, how and when will we be getting our JAKIB tailgate tickets? Devin, I will have Krause send out an email to everybody. Normally, when you get tickets through the broker, they don't actually get them until much closer to the game. So it's not going to come, now. It'll probably become sometime early in September or leading up to the week of that game. But I'll have everybody give the rundown. I'll have him send out the email for the rundown.
The problem, real quick, the problem that Dak falls into many times in sequence? He's throwing from 3rd and 7 or 8 when he's got to make a play when you're trying to move the sticks. You got to be throwing from 3rd and 3 to 4 to keep that thing. They don't do a very good job at winning 1st and 2nd down.
That's part of the full picture of the Eagles' offense this year.
That's right.
So I think that's a big part of it. Look, everybody's crying because I said Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. Here's Bear from Philly. Sills, how come you never brought up the fact that Reyes has a man crush on Guy Fieri? He's most likely looks like the guy from Mad Magazine. Bear, what are we talking about?
Yeah, who? I don't know. Who's Guy Fieri? I don't know who he is. Who is he?
That dude with the fucking spiky hair. That
okay. Yeah, great. Sorry. I don't keep my man decoder book with me here, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about here.
All right, one more. No, never mind. No more. Jules. All right, Sills, good stuff, man.
Dude.
You got your earbuds in. Hopefully we got no echo. Our Philly and Mark looks to me. Guys, I don't know if you need earbuds for this thing to work with no echo. The StreamYard's been brutal this week.
Yeah, it really
And
has.
last
Here.
week.
Absolutely. Big Zeke, keep up the great work. Hey, by the way, is it football 24/7 tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. There's no night show tonight. We had the morning show today. So
okay, so tomorrow morning you'll get that, and then Bird 365 after practice. And by the way, it's Thursday.
And then Friday back to a walkthrough game Saturday.
You got it, bro. Love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Later, big dog. Appreciate you.